Hello there and welcome once again. We are coming to you live online and on air from Broadcast House here on Nile Avenue. On sign language tonight, it is Elizabeth Nakakoni and I am Rukide Edward Kiijanangoma, your host. Now, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has appealed to Kyambogo University administration to emphasize science-based education for national development. The president was addressing Kyambogo University's 17th graduation ceremony, where over 9,000 graduates received degrees and certificates in different fields. We have this report.
Authority entrusted to me, I confer upon all those persons whose names have been read the degree of Bachelor of Business Studies with Education of Kyambogo University.
Kyambogo University has awarded degrees in different fields of education during the 17th graduation ceremony. At least 9,530, of whom 4,447 are female and 547 males, will graduate in different fields during the three-day graduation ceremony. President Museveni, also the chief guest, urged Kyambogo University administration to ensure science-based education takes the lead and appeal to the graduates to prepare for their next phase of life.
I would like you the managers, the University Council, the Senate, not to lose sight of that original demarcation of boundaries. But the original demarcation, teaching and technical and technological skills.
The Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, challenged all institutions of higher learning to institute coherent internal quality assurance mechanisms and develop quality programs that meet employers' expectations.
Given the role universities play in human capital development, I call upon all our higher education institutions to develop quality academic programs that meet the expectations of our graduates. Perhaps most importantly of all, develop programs that support national socio-economic transformation aspirations of our young country.
The Chancellor, Professor John Mukasa Sebufu, said COVID-19 disrupted the education system, although the university is elevated to ICT and has adopted open distance education e-learning model to teach its programs.
And through technological advances, it is critically important that you keep upgrading yourselves through the acquisition of new knowledge and skills. Otherwise, you will become obsolete before you even start working.
The Vice-Chancellor, Eli Katungunga Rwakishaya, appealed to parents to provide their children with data and electronic equipment for smooth online learning.
As I earlier mentioned, the university has invested in the installation of the necessary technologies to facilitate the implementation of ODEL. The investment includes setting up more computer labs, as well as increasing internet hotspots around the campus. I therefore call upon all parents and guardians to provide data for internet and gadgets like smartphones, basic laptops, and iPads to enable the students access online materials.
The overall best performing students were Ruma Henry, who scored a CGPA of 4.9, followed by Nabasinga Joan Mirembe. And those that emerged best in their respective colleges were awarded by the Institute of Internal Auditors Uganda.
To me by two organizations, that is SCCA. It is the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. It is based in UK. Then I've also been honored by the Institute of Internal Auditors of Uganda. Upon my recognition for trying to recognize my hard work.
And finance, yes, I have been one of the best students. That's why I have been awarded with this kind of gift. It's from the Internal Auditors of Uganda. I was the overall female best in my faculty as well as my course.
We were to also recognize some of the best performing students, those who got first-class degrees. And why we do that is to encourage students, one, to act with excellence when they're released to the field, and then two, to act with integrity, but also most importantly, to encourage them to join the profession of internal auditors.
Kiijanangoma University today graduates different students from different fields of education on its 17th graduation ceremony, which has been held virtually. The mantle now lies on the shoulders of those who have graduated to look for jobs as they enter their next sphere of life. Sada Mubale, UBC News, Kampala.
You're welcome. Now, the Health Monitoring Unit of State House has arrested 3 people from Al Saud Labour Export Company over fraud. Now, these have been forging vaccination cards, stamps and seals, among other items, for travellers going abroad, yet they've been operating illegally. Shaidat Nasaku reports.
In July 2021, Al Saud Labour Exporting Company was denied an operating license and was stopped from exporting labour abroad. This was followed by a travel ban on Ugandans travelling to Dubai because of COVID-19 and forged vaccination cards, which forced the Health Monitoring Unit of State House to investigate the allegations made. To date, the unit has arrested 3 individuals, 2 from Al Saud Labour Exporting Company operating illegally, and 1 person who has no company.
Al Saud Labour Export Company, located on Salama Road in Muswangari Zone, which was involved in these suspicious activities, had been operating illegally as its license was suspended this year. We have 3 individuals in custody. These were arrested yesterday.
There is no way we could just leave them once we had discovered them. You can run, but you cannot outrun the long arm of government and the law. So stand one.
These were found with duplicated transcripts, passports, birth certificates, among other items.
Rubber parts of forged stamps for different companies, law firms, NIRA, Commission of Oath, Chiburi Mosque, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and Uganda Registration Services Bureau. We also recovered 3 certificates of registration for tax identification number from URA.
Abasa has warned Ugandans duped in forgery of vaccination cards to be vigilant.
And we call upon the general public to desist from such acts of criminality, but also to report should you be approached by these crooks.
We can't then control the disease. If we have all these fellows with fake vaccine certificates and we think we've covered Ugandans, surely we can't be controlling the disease.
Shaidat Nasaku, UBC News.
Residents living in the suburbs of Kampala have been given an ultimatum of 2 months to register with their local council leaders, a remedy to curb crime in Kampala. Resident City Commissioner Hudu Hussein made the remarks during a security awareness meeting on machete-wielding men, commonly known as Bijambia criminal gangs, spreading like wildfire across the country.
The Office of the Resident City Commissioner Kampala has extended its sympathies and prayers to the families that lost their loved ones and those that have been adversely affected by terror of the Bijambia criminals in Greater Masaka. Hud Hussein says, with the confidence of the NRM's zero tolerance towards insecurity, the criminals will certainly be finished out and brought to account.
The area police posts and the local councils should network and coordinate with each other. It is sad that in many places, the LOCs work in isolation from the police and vice versa. They should share contacts and hold regular meetings to effectively fight crime. The LOC1 leadership is expected to hold, at least on a monthly basis, village security meetings.
Hussein, however, says security heads and teams in Kampala are prepared and well equipped to protect families and businesses from any attack.
I want to appeal to the people of Kampala, capital city, that 2 months from now, from today, we expect every city dweller, every city resident to have a village ID. 2 months from now, without a village ID, you leave the security operatives with no option but to do what they are supposed to do. We expect every camp.
Hood appreciated politicians that have come up to support police and people in this cause, especially Buganda Kingdom, for coming out against Bijambia through propaganda.
It's absurd that some opposition politicians, like Joseph Kabuleta, have alluded to the president's condolences and compensation to the deceased's families. I think such utterances are not just immoral, but also disgraceful. We want to assure the people of Kampala that the security heads and teams in Kampala are prepared and well equipped to protect you.
He appealed to those living within Kampala to cooperate with security agencies and their local council leaders, and the LCs must generate a residence register with the names and addresses of the zone or village members. Issuance of migration letters by local council leaders to residents moving from one location to another for easier accountability of movement has been emphasized.
With that register, we would establish who are the residents in a particular village or zone. Nowadays, you ask for a residence register from the LOCs and they don't have it. They used to have security meetings. They no longer do it, and we want to encourage them to revive these meetings.
Sudat Kaye, UBC.
Some nice initiatives there by the RCC, who say, of course, they are aimed at identifying criminals and fighting those machete-wielding men. Now, Parliament has honoured contributions of the late Archbishop of the Uganda Orthodox Church, Jonah Luanga, who was buried on Monday, the 20th of September 2021. The House, that was chaired by Speaker Jacob Olanya, okayed a motion by government to pay tribute to the late spiritual leader and take appreciation of his dedicated contributions to Uganda and the world at large.
The motion, moved by the second Deputy Prime Minister, Kiijanangoma, and seconded by the Leader of Opposition, Mathias Mpuuga, sought for the August House to pay tribute to the fallen Archbishop of the Uganda Orthodox Church, Jonah Luanga.
That Parliament collectively conveys its deep condolences to the bereaved family.
The late Jonah Luanga died on 5th September 2021 in Athens, Greece, and was buried on Monday 20th September 2021. Parliament, chaired by Speaker Jacob Olanya, re-echoed the legacy of the late Archbishop Jonah Luanga, including championing rule of law, human rights and unity, among others.
I believe what was fought for is what he was fighting for, peace and harmony in this country.
How I wish we could go on to be tolerant to one another. How I wish we could know that we first of all are Ugandans. Thereafter, you are red, I'm yellow, but we are all Ugandans working for the good of this country. And that should be the spirit.
He also spearheaded the fight against poverty, illiteracy and hunger, and improving health through creating various medical facilities across the country.
A fully fledged hospital, which is one of the best hospitals that we have in Uganda. When you go to Namngona Orthodox Hospital, they have good doctors, they have good machines.
Parliament recognizes that the late Luanga spearheaded the expansion of Orthodox faith in Uganda, leaving behind about 105 Orthodox communities and 80 priests.
And they would make pieces of advice to government and all of us. And the government respected his views, like other views from other religious leaders and other senior leaders in this country, because all of us appreciate that the NRM government is a tolerant government.
From 1997 until his death, the late Archbishop Jonah Luanga was also the exarch of all Uganda under the Eastern Orthodox Church of Alexandria. Meanwhile, the Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Olanya, has banned members of Parliament from being financed to attend workshops and other related stakeholder meetings.
We who pays the piper calls the tune. Honorable members, very, very seriously, it's a trend that is dangerous for this institution. I am calling upon all ministries, all agencies of government, and departments of government to seize forthwith from these dealings, which will eventually end up undermining the independence of this institution.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gwitabinji, UBC News.
Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Matia Kasaija, and Mr. Hatem Shakroun, and the country director of the Agence Française de Développement in Uganda, AFD, have signed financing agreements amounting to 79.1 million euros to improve an inclusive access to rural water in Isinjiro district. The signing took place at the Finance Ministry headquarters here in Kampala, as we hear in this story.
The 79.1 million euros soft loan financing from AFD to the Ministry of Water and Environment will support water supply in Isinjiro district through the Kagera water supply system.
When I signed this agreement to give water to the people of that area, Isinjiro, in Mbarara, that is in Mbarara area, Your Excellency, I feel very gratified. I am now going to deliver to the people of that area. Now I can go back and feel very proud that at last what I promised you is coming. So, merci, thank you very much, merci, merci, beaucoup.
An 8 million euros grant from the European Union will target access to safe water and sanitation in refugee settlements of Nachivale and Oruchinga in Isinjiro and surrounding communities.
And we try to improve each time. We learn lessons from the past. We try to avoid making the same mistakes, and we try to make the disbursement the closest to the signature of the agreement. Now on this project, we are ready. We pre-qualification to select contractor are ready to be launched. We will select companies that will hopefully will be able to start the works by January 2022.
About 80% of the population lives in rural areas, where access to safe water supply shows sharp discrepancies between districts. With about 132,000 refugees, Isinjiro district lags in safe water with supply at 43%.
This system will involve the construction of 8 water supply systems. There will be 1 fecal sludge treatment facility and 28 waterborne toilets for the communities and institutions in that area. There will also be campaigns for hygiene and sanitation with focus on schools and communities. They will also strengthen capacity of the regulation function within the ministry, and the issue of environment and climate change is also incorporated to some extent in this particular project.
The target population of beneficiaries are 340,000, including 132,000 refugees. Wadulo Makanold, UBC News.
The government has been asked to increase on road funds allocated to local governments to enhance proper road maintenance in the country. The Secretary General of Uganda Local Government Association, Gertrude Rose Gamwera, made the appeal during a work plan analysis for different ministries and local governments for the year 2022-2023.
Road transport is one of the major aspects of development in a country. Cargo trucks moving in and out of the country use the infrastructure, in return a huge contribution to the country's revenue resource base. However, many roads in a country remain wanting, though to a large extent efforts have been made to fix highway roads linking Uganda to regional states. The Secretary General Local Government Association, Gertrude Rose Gamwera, has urged the government to increase the funds allocated for road maintenance and construction to have many roads built.
We are saying put money to the roads. Yes, we are aware and very much alive to the fact of the COVID pandemic, but the COVID pandemic does not make life stop. It does not make government stop. Local governments are government. we always emphasize they're the right hand of government. So we must apportion the little we have across board to make sure that there's some sense of functionality and things continue. So we're saying put more money to the roads.
However, Gamwera was concerned that the central government has abandoned many roads to local governments to maintain, yet the trickle-down resource envelope for local governments is small.
And the issue we've put forward to the ministry is that we are creating a lot of confusion amongst our people, because government through the ministry is not communicating clearly which are their roads, where do they start, where do they stop. And they've left a whole lot of roads to local governments who are really under-resourced and under-facilitated, under-funded, which creates a lot of apathy and dissatisfaction and discontent in our people. We've had discussions.
They presented to Parliament for appropriation of funds to that ministry or sector or agency. So as a local government finance commission, our role is to ensure that that happens, that that is done, and then to make sure that at the end of the period, at the end of the financial year, we again sit them to review on the implementation of these undertakings.
The Local Government Finance Commission is a constitutional commission appointed by President to advise the government on issues of local government financing, especially to ministries that send grants to local government. Robert Katamba for UBC News.
Thanks, Katamba, for that story there. And of course, those rural roads are really needed in order for residents or citizens to trade and have their goods taken to other markets. Now, a Burundian rebel leader, Colonel Jean Bosco Ndai Kengurukie, who has been hiding in Uganda for the last 6 years, has gone back to his country. Take a watch.
Ndai Kengurukie, who left Burundi in 2016 due to political instabilities that erupted as a result of an attempted coup against then-President late Pierre Nkurunziza, is grateful to Uganda for offering him a political asylum.
Well, it was okay. And I have got enough time to stay with in the refugee camps, notably in Inaki Valley. And we have seen how the refugees are welcomed.
While addressing the press in Kampala, Ndai Kengurukie, the leader of the National Rally for Restoration of Democracy in Burundi, says it was time for him to return home and pursue his political ambitions. In his words, Ndai Kengurukie says he wants political space and freedom to pursue his political ambitions and has hopes in the national dialogue, hence calling upon Uganda President Yoweri Museveni to speed up with the dialogue preparations.
So that those who are still outside the country, who would like to go back home, could be accepted as that. It is what my main wish is that, because I know that they are my colleagues.
Ndai Kengurukie also expressed his appreciation to Ugandans for hosting him for the last 6 years, and this being the third time of him being in exile. He says Ugandans have been so friendly and therefore asked them to join him in restoring democracy in Burundi.
And we'll be taking a short break and we'll be returning with much more.
Today in history.
On Saturday, the 21st of September 2013, 4 masked gunmen attacked the Westgate shopping mall, an upscale mall in Nairobi, Kenya. The extremist group Al-Shabaab claimed responsibility for the incident, which it characterized as retribution for the Kenyan military's deployment in the group's home country of Somalia. The attack resulted in 71 total deaths, including 62 civilians, 5 Kenyan soldiers and 4 attackers. Approximately 200 people were wounded in the mass shooting.
My home
I smile when I think of you, Uganda, my home. My home, I dance when I look at you, Uganda, my home, oh my Uganda.
I know, with you I'll always stay forever. I know, because I feel that we belong together. My home, under the sun so bright, under the moon at night, on my heart. Mommy, oh my Uganda.
Hey, mama. At MTN, we look forward to starting another exciting journey together to grow our home, Uganda.
Echa COVID-19 chijja kugwa only if we stay at home, observe physical distancing, wear masks properly, sanitize or wash our hands with soap and water regularly, or get vaccinated now.
Be alert. Do not share your Airtel Money PIN number with anyone. Airtel Uganda employees will never ask for your Airtel Money PIN number on call, SMS, or by email. All SIM card registrations, SIM card verifications, or SIM swaps are done at clearly branded Airtel shops and not on phone. To report any fraudulent activity, please call 100 immediately. The official calling number for Airtel promotions is 0200 100 100. Stay alert on Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Getting GoTV was the best decision James has ever made. Finding a good place to watch football was never easy, but it was costly until James discovered something big. Now he can finally enjoy the benefits of homegrown advantage with a decoder and 1 month of GoTV Valley. For just 25,000 shillings, enjoy the world's biggest leagues and cap competitions. GoTV Uganda, love it.
You know, you could just buy a new smartphone from anywhere in Uganda. Dial *175 *94# to activate their 100% double data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles for 3 months. Better yet, you automatically receive free 1 GB valid for 30 days. You are hooked already, aren't you? Enjoy 100% double data bonus from Airtel. Buy a smartphone from anywhere in Uganda and insert an Airtel SIM card. Dial *175 *94# to activate a 100% data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles, valid for 3 months. Dial *175# and select your preferred bundle to activate a 100% data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles, valid for 3 months. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back from that short break, and this is the news tonight here on UBC TV. State Minister for Local Government, Businge Victoria Rusoke, has warned civil servants who engage in misusing public funds. Many civil servants have been found in acts of doing shoddy work, leading to poor service delivery.
State Minister for Local Government Victoria Businge Rusoke was addressing Kasese municipality leadership and Kasese Central Main Market vendors at the Mayor's Garden in Kasese Town. She said government will not tolerate public workers who have stolen public money.
There is nobody who has stopped any civil servant from engaging into a circle on his village or her village. Please leave government money alone, because we are out to arrest you seriously. First of all, we'll have to refund the money, and then we sentence you without any more fear or favor. Tell us of the shoddy works in the place. Leaders, you keep quiet. Shoddy roads are being worked on, and after they have started cracking in a week, you begin lamenting.
The minister, who toured the newly constructed Kasese Central Main Market, also warned the business community in the market for continued petitioning over the ownership of lockups and stalls.
I have closed all petitions. Set down into the market and work. If you sold your stall, you sold yourself. If there's still room, apply and be placed where another zone is working and take on to the requirements of that zone and get the merchandise of that zone. So no more petitions, let's settle down and work.
She promised total support from government in ensuring that more markets are allocated in Kasese district for better service delivery.
We are going to get more markets in Kasese. The town clerks were the Ministry of Local Government to get further guidance. So we are still serving. We know there are very many people who are interested in selling merchandise and government is responding. Rome was not built in a day, step by step, an egg will run. Development is a combined effort.
Suzy Mugenyi, the commissioner at the Ministry of Local Government, advised vendors to properly handle the facility if they are to benefit from it. However, the chairperson of the reallocation committee for vendors, Grace Masika, reported to the minister that some vendors are now selling off their lockups to other people who are not documented.
Some people have started selling, and this one is common with the people who had the memorandum of understanding signed in 2020 and 2016. And these people from 2020, after signing memorandum, some of them left business and they were no longer vendors in the market. So when the period of giving them the lockups came, these are the people now who are selling their lockups because they are no longer vendors.
Bakulu and Masika Pasca, all vendors at this market, appreciated the government for putting up a facility that allows them operate in a good environment.
From Kasese, let's go to Iganga, where police in Iganga have arrested an 18-year-old girl for allegedly stealing a 5-month-old baby. The suspect, Shakira Mutesi, stole the baby from a neighbor when she visited her aunt.
Shakira Mutesi, 18-year-old girl, is behind bars at Wihiro Police Post in Iganga district for stealing a 5-month-old baby. The suspect, a daughter to Swaibu Erima, a resident of Bukizivu village in Mayuge district, allegedly stole the baby from Zam to Azizanga, a neighbor to her aunt Amina Nabire, whom she had visited 2 weeks ago.
Widow wanga amaze weeks ibiri yatuuka butuuke nga ndi transport yamuleeta azira yakatusenga asasula sente da boda nze ndije bwide nga nzira sente nti oba ate nva bukizibu ye baba Swaibu.
The incident occurred at around midday at Nawayinje village in Iganga district. Peter Wakabi, a neighbor and a social worker, said that the suspect pretended to be helping the mother, who was washing her aunt's clothes for money, and disappeared with the baby.
I think the mission was selling the child to get money. The motive was to take the child to the island because those people on the lake shores, we read their newspapers that there are some people who buy people.
The mother of the baby narrates how the suspect tricked her and went with the baby. However, the suspect denied having stolen the kid, that she just loved to move with her kid.
omwana nakola kinamulambaza omukinga kiriya kigango namutendesa yatendika eyalambalira natandika okoza enamaze okoza nga mubeda ngase asoka kutyama nawe mu mulyango awo ngalukunderera obulungi ati nazanga ndakunderera agiye okuba ngasituka ngajja naye ngabitamuyanda nga yotolera ngajja naye.
The East Busoga police spokesperson Diana Nandaula confirmed the arrest.
We followed it up and have recovered the kid from Mayuge, and at the moment we are holding Mutesi on charges of child stealing.
She cautioned the parents with kids not to entrust strangers with their children to avoid similar incidents.
Very sad indeed for a child of 18 years to steal a baby. Now, persons living with disabilities have appealed to government for tax exemption on equipment they use. This was during a press conference in Kampala where they called for establishment of a health insurance scheme for persons living with disabilities. We have this report.
According to Uganda Bureau of Statistics census report for 2016, indicate that 12.4% of the Ugandan population lives with some form of disability, implying that approximately 4.5 million Ugandans are persons living with disability. Among these, the highest number is below 15 years. Different organizations of the people living with disability in Uganda, under their umbrella, National Union of Disabled Persons of Uganda, have raised concern that they are left out when it comes to sharing the national cake.
When you look at me seated here, you can't tell whether I have a disability or not. But my disability is so challenging in a way that it's neurological. It makes the body coordination a challenge.
Ruth Muchibi, the Executive Director, Sickle Cell Free Uganda, appeals to government to exempt taxes on cream for albinism, walking sticks, among other materials for PWDs.
They brought a category of people that have got to benefit. Of course, the disability was part of it, but when you're not even recognized by the people who are supposed to articulate your issues, then it becomes a problem. So that is what we are saying. Everybody, key stakeholders, government, development partners, disability people's organizations, and the community of Uganda, please come on board and represent these people well.
She also calls upon government to establish health insurance schemes for these people and recruit more doctors, purposely to handle people living with disabilities.
They are suffering, and some of them actually just get bedridden. For example, if someone got a total stroke on both sides, they'll just be bedridden, and until they die, no one will ever know.
Some of the people living with disabilities raised challenges they face that government should prioritize.
For reaching at the line, I want to vote, and I receive instructions from the officer makes me to leave the lane and not to vote. Therefore, we call upon the Electoral Commission next time, make sure that the people in charge of election are well sensitized, not only at the national level, but also at the ground.
Sebira Andrew compiled this report.
PWDs there looking for support. Now, Uganda has joined the rest of the world to commemorate this year's International Day of Peace with a special tribute to the national resistance movement for the prevailing peace and stability in the country. Kampala Capital City Authority Deputy RCC Machinde Division Doreen Keita Kagabe says sustainability of the relative peace and stability is critical in forging social economic development.
It's not something that can be bought from the marketplace or achieved solely by high-level policies. It has to be nurtured within. Inner peace is the basis for building peace in families, communities and the world. The International Day of Peace was established in 1981 by the United Nations General Assembly.
Love your neighbor as you love yourself. When you love your neighbor, it means you cannot harm that person. It means whatever you want also to do in your home can be extended to that person.
According to the resident city commissioner Machinde Division in Kampala, Doreen Keita Kagabi, we need to maintain the relative peace. Doreen Keita was officiating at the KCCA and Nile Dialogue Platform International Day of Peace held in Katwe Parish.
We have peace. We have achieved it. Every level, name it. At a higher level, at a lower level.
She was dismayed by the increasing child prostitution and child pregnancies in the region, saying this does not reflect good family peace.
Peace is disrupted when we don't understand one another. Okay? So I pray, I may be black, may be white, we may be red. Let us try to understand one another.
Nile Dialogue Platform Secretary General Issa Chirarira says that the day is meant for communities to interact with one another as a way of cementing tolerance, dialogue and peaceful coexistence.
I wish to thank the government of Uganda, led by His Excellency the President of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, for his tremendous contribution to building a peaceful Uganda. I therefore challenge all of us here today, especially the young people, to always embrace patriotism.
This year, the theme of International Day of Peace is recovering better for an equitable and sustainable world. Terego District Woman Legislator in Uganda's Parliament, Rose Obiga, says there has been a positive trend in empowering women to cause peace in our families.
I'm from the poorest of the poor. Don't feel your situation is pathetic. Because you can buy eggplants here, you can buy tomatoes here, you can buy onions here, mention them, but you'll make money out of them. But is it clean money? Can we stop theft? Can we stop picking money that does not belong to you?
The occasion was characterized by helping the most vulnerable young mothers from Katwe slums with food items and tree planting as signs of bringing peace in diversity. Douglas Setumba compiled this report.
Kudos to the NRM government for ushering in peace and the stability that we as Ugandans are enjoying today. Close to 70,000 young people across the country will be skilled as rural transformation specialists in an initiative that aims at the social-economic empowerment of marginalized communities. The program, mainly for female undergraduates, that is planned to run for 5 years, is initiated by African Rural University, based in Kagadi district.
This enterprise is expected to create female leaders who are capable of participating in the socio-economic empowerment of the relegated communities. The Uganda Rural Development and Training Institute and African Rural University in Kagadi will train female youth in mindset change, entrepreneurship and skills in agriculture.
The sister institution called Uganda Rural Development and Training Institute is going to train 70,000 young people in mindset change, entrepreneurship and the skills in agriculture, tourism and building and construction in 5 years.
Earlier, youth were groomed as rural transformation specialists.
And to date, our students are working at the sub-county level as epicenter managers, and now we have also 20 epicenter managers that are working at the district level in Midwestern and Western Uganda, and part of actually a central region up to Mitiana and Kiboga.
African Rural University is the Uganda's first all-women rural university in Africa, fully accredited by the National Council for Higher Education.
To Kigezi sub-region now, where Kigezi sub-region has registered an increase in teenage pregnancies during the COVID-19 lockdown. Now, this shocking reality has left various stakeholders in children's rights promotion contemplative on the next course of action.
There are increasing cases of teenage pregnancies in Kigezi sub-region. According to statistics, over 175 cases of teenage pregnancies are registered monthly. Kanungu District Senior Probation Officer Kate Twebaze says since January this year, the district has registered a total of 1,401 teenage pregnancy cases. She was addressing a one-day workshop in Kabale Municipality organized by the National Children Authority on the rising cases.
Per now is 1,401, and out of that number, 14 are below age 15.
Kabale's probation officer, Monica Muhumuza, said since March last year to July this year, her office registered 2,628 cases, while Rukunjiri 1,354 cases of teenage pregnancies.
Teenage pregnancies are rising from last year, March 2020, up to today. Actually, the latest month, August 2021, I have 2,628.
The officers attribute the rising cases to the COVID-19 lockdown and failure by parents to provide guidance. The Kabale District Education Officer, Moses Twijuche, blamed the increased teenage pregnancies to some parents who connive with suspects to get money.
So we also have defilement cases reported where the parents connive with the perpetuators and they end up not being convicted.
The Executive Director, National Children Authority, Kiza Martin, says they have embarked on laying strategies with all stakeholders to educate the masses on how to protect children from sexual abuses.
That children, abana, baletaga that maximum protection, there is no shortcut. Obabu yababizi bibiringa naki, titushemeye kuhunga challenges in case.
Now, chaos erupted in a given family as a 71-year-old blind old man in Mugarutsia, Bubari sub-county in Kashari in Mbarara district, where the Mbarara district woman member of parliament was invited to mediate for rights and freedoms of 29-year-old woman and her 2 abandoned girl children. Let's get that story.
Binaisa denied before the RDC Mbategereze and the district woman member of parliament Ayabere that reports made against him by his wife Tusasire. Mbategereze asked the chairperson LC1 Kanyara Mugizi John to assist the accused Julius Muhwezi and his brother Pastor Kabaireho be arrested for threatening to kill Tusasire. Yokayanda Bakikunya, the blind old man, started causing commotion. The acting district police commander Mbarara Omar Rafai said the couple will be charged with malicious damage of property. Tusasiro claims that her husband has abandoned the family for 9 years. RDC Mbategereze explained that the law has taken its course and Tusasire will get justice.
Welcome back from that short break. Now let's have a look at what's happening in the world of business. The Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development is reviewing Uganda Electricity Act of 1999 to restore the Energy Fund. The move seeks to design policies which will correspond to the National Development Plan 3. Minister Okasai Okolot made this revelation at the Energy Mkutano Conference 2021.
The Energy Mkutano Conference 2021 focused on the universal access to affordable and clean energy. The organizers are convinced that this can only be achieved through proper accomplishment of the midstream and downstream infrastructure across the country.
It's in real bad shape, right? Help in investment in generation, help drive investment in distribution. And then our generation capacity was below 120 megawatts. Then
this electricity must be reliable, it must be at affordable costs, and then people can begin hopefully shifting from using biomass.
The Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development is reviewing the Uganda Electricity Act of 1999 to design policies that suit the National Development Plan 3.
We have electricity policy, energy policy for the country. This policy was written a long time ago, and things have changed from the time the policy was written. For example, the policy was written removing electricity energy fund. And energy fund was very instrumental in developing infrastructure. that infrastructure should be a responsibility of government. But it was actually removed and the private sector was doing it, and that enabled the private sector to put their prices up, which have got a ripple effect on causing the tariffs to go up.
Limited funding of transmission activities and vandalism remains a major hindrance to the nation's electrification plan.
That one also is being factored in. How do we make it difficult for somebody to go and vandalize and go scot-free? We have got to tighten the noose such that we deliver.
Uganda is believed to be producing power in surplus, but the cost of consumption leaves many unattended to. Umeme has recommended subsides to the public.
Economic point at which you say, at what point should the tariffs actually start coming down? And once you hit that economic point, that's why we're encouraging to grow, to drive for growth. Some peak point, then the tariffs will come down. But if you check over the last 4 or 5 years, actually tariffs have been flat or coming down.
Stakeholders believe renewable energy has a bearing on the target to promote sustainable industrialization. Lydia Chomkama, UBC News.
Was brought to you by...
The 545 jackpot is brought to you by Centenary Bank, our bank.
Afield, we go to South Africa, where for just $1,009 a night, you can sleep in the bedroom of late statesman Nelson Mandela's Houghton Estate residence, which has been converted into a boutique hotel. While prices for various rooms differ at the new one-of-a-kind Sanctuary Mandela Boutique Hotel, the presidential suite, which boasts a king-size bed and overshadowing black and white picture of Madiba, will cost you an arm and a leg. Madiba's grandson, Mandla Mandela, commended the Nelson Mandela Foundation, NMF, for keeping the memory of the former statesman alive through the boutique hotel in the leafy Houghton suburb.
Group to transform the home into a boutique hotel.
We wanted to create something not quite a museum, but something that also embodies the spirit of the person of Nelson Mandela and bring it to life. And that's really how we thought we should do it.
Five times the winning, yeah. 5 times the happiness, yeah. 5 times the luckiness, yeah. 5 for 5, oh yeah. It's 5 for 5. 5 for 5. 5 times the money, yeah. 5 times the shopping, yeah. 5 times the prizes, yeah. 5 for 5, oh yeah. It's 5 for 5. 5 for 5.
Win 100,000 Uganda shillings weekly in the 5 for 5 jackpot. Simply download the Center mobile app. Click Center on the go to open your account online. Transact 5 times or more using Center Mobile, Center Visa, and Center Agent to stand a chance to win. The more you transact, the higher your chances of winning. So, participate in the 5 for 5 jackpot and win millions in daily and weekly prizes. The 5 for 5 jackpot is brought to you by Centenary Bank, our bank. Centenary Bank is regulated by the Bank of Uganda. Customer deposits are protected by the Deposit Protection Fund.
Switch from AfriCell to Airtel, Uganda's only 100% 4G network, and get 50% data bonus on all bundles purchased using Airtel Money. Visit the nearest Airtel shop with a valid national ID to buy a SIM card today. For business entities, please share an email with business.support@ug.airtel.com. Enjoy the best rates on calls, SMS, data, and Airtel Money across Uganda on your preferred number. 50% data bonus is valid till 15th November 2021. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Good morning, Mr. Murisa. My name is Dr. Ramu, the district veterinary officer here.
Good to meet you. Doctor, we are facing a big challenge of foot and mouth disease here.
Don't worry. I have an important message for you today. Foot and mouth disease is causing a serious impact on your livelihoods, but it can be stopped. You as a farmer has the biggest role to play to ensure your livestock remains healthy. Your animals are your livelihood, and so you need to take every action possible to guard your business, your livelihood, and your family. Animal quarantines fuel poverty, and they will continue if we do not protect our farms from such infections, what we vets call farm biosecurity. The government is doing everything possible to control animal diseases, especially FMD, but needs your help, Mr. Murisa. Healthy animals are more productive and will open better and higher value markets for you nationally, regionally, and for international exports. The foundation for better animal health is to ensure your livestock are fed and watered well. Your animals will grow and not suffer from less disease if you also provide supplementary feeding. You need to feed your livestock on silage, hay, and forage instead of complete free range that exposes them to diseases. Increased production of your livestock will mean better household incomes, well-nourished animals, high productivity, and a health herd.
This message is brought to you by
Uganda. Today is a great day to work towards your dreams. Dial *185 *7# and select savings to save as low as 500 Ugandan shillings on regular savings or 250,000 Ugandan shillings for fixed deposits. Airtel Money Super Saver is powered by KCB Bank Uganda. Airtel Money, instant, secure, borderless. T's and C's apply.
Let's have a look at sports news now. And Vipers Sports Club has secured passage into the Stanbic Uganda Cup after a worthy 2-0 victory over Police FC. In the game played at the Fufa Technical Center in Jeru, Vipers were aided by a goal either side of halftime by Police Congolese Caesar Manzoki. Now, Vipers were the better side all through the game, with some deft touches evidencing the reason the club's supremo, Lawrence Mulindwa, opted for a Brazilian and Portuguese technical bench of Oliveira Roberto and Marcelo Cardoso. In the final on Sunday, Vipers will play either Bull FC or Express FC, whose semi-final was rescheduled for Thursday at the Fufa Technical Center in Jeru. The winner of the Stanbic Uganda Cup will bag 50 million shillings, while runner-up expects 20 million shillings. Semi-final losers will each get 12 million shillings, with a cash prize gained from sponsorship by Stanbic Bank and Kansai Plascon Uganda, trickling down till each team that entered this year's edition.
I may recall so well.
Members on the Parliamentary Committee of Education and Sports have had a familiarization tour of the National Council of Sports. And as we hear from John Barnes Centamo, the tour aimed at getting a general overview of the mandate and operations of the National Council of Sports.
Of Sports General Secretary Dr. Bernard Patrick Ogwell has taken legislators on the Parliamentary Committee of Education and Sport on a tour of facilities under his jurisdiction. The legislators recommended a new sports law to replace the 1964 Act, which renders sport a leisure, and thus partly why the sector still lags behind.
But still, we have discovered, it was my concern, the law, the Act in place is outdated. It was amalgamated in 1964. This is 2021. How many years are those? And I feel we need to do a little more in terms of amending the Act to allow the representation of all other associations and the federation to the National Council. Currently, these people are not represented. The 4 big people on the National Council are appointed, and but the minister, the line minister, which I feel is not good enough. These associations that are in charge should participate and be involved in the whole process of choosing who to sit on the National Council of Sports.
Notable among the facilities visited were the tennis court, hockey field, MTN Arena and all federation offices housed at National Council of Sports.
They are trying, amidst of the challenge they are facing. When you look at the facilities here, they are old-fashioned according to the facilities that are prevailing now in other countries. So the budget that is given to them by the government, my friend, sports is like an option to these guys. It's not a priority. Yet sports has lifted the country's flag higher than anything else. So what we are going to do is to see that we help them, to see that we create a better budget for this for sports. But this is the National Council of Sports. It's the hope for all sports in the country.
Legislators also advise the same treatment to all federations in order for the country to benefit from several talents.
Coming to 2 minutes after 11 in the studios of UBC TV. We've almost come to the end of this bulletin, but before we leave you, let's have a quick reminder of our top stories. In our top stories tonight, President Yoweri Museveni tips Kyambogo University on science-based education. 3 people arrested for forging vaccination cards. In South Africa, Mandela residence refurbished into boutique hotel. And in sports, Kansai plus Con-sponsored Vipers beat Police FC to seal Uganda Cup final slot. And that's all we had time for. Thank you for keeping us company. On sign language, it has been Elizabeth Nakakoni, and I am Lukidi Edward Kiijanangoma, wishing you a blessed night. See you tomorrow.
Join us from Monday to Friday for Good Morning Uganda with me, Felix Nkunda.
Priscilla Naluoda.
Robert Chirabo.
Molen Kenyana.
Ruben Bimba. With all the morning's essentials.
Including the very latest in news, traffic,
weather and sports.
Live on TV and across all our social media platforms. Hashtag UBCGMU.
Hope you'll be setting your alarms, cause we are looking forward to seeing you then.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
We also have enough air.
It is intellectually engaging.
And you can only become a leader when there are problems.
I like that.
The same applies to Rwanda, Burundi. So what are we federating?
Whether rats from another country can be, somebody must be there to hold everybody accountable.
But at the moment, we would rather deal with what we have, make it right.
First of all, we as elites of Uganda, we have made Museveni the issue. I can tell Museveni is not the problem of Uganda. The problems of Uganda are much deeper. We can change the next 20 presidents and we'll still be this roundabout.
Deeply incisive.
The different political forces that we have in the country, in the country